All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the WrestleSense Live Report, where your WrestleSense is your opinion on wrestling, no matter what it is. Go for it. Like who you want to like, hate who you want to hate, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. So let's boo this guy right here, Monstar. Boo! Monstar's in the building. Welcome in, Wally. Wally's in the house. Good to see you, Wally. Jesse Jackhammer, your t-shirt's on the way, my friend. It's right behind me. All I got to do is wrap it up and send it out to you, my friend. So congratulations. We did a t-shirt giveaway a couple weeks ago. Jesse Jackhammer took the prize. Chase Bishop's in the building. Good to see you, Chase. The ROB, Rob Machete, is in the house. Welcome in, Lady Devil and the family. So good to see everybody, even you Cleveland Browns fans. Oh, boy. King of Cleveland, how you doing, my friend? Always good to see you. Hot Wheels in the house. Aaron's in the building. Good to see you. Andy Price on the other side of the planet. Oh, we're going to get into it here, folks. We had a nice pay-per-view over the weekend, so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about a couple things that happened since then. Crushing Kelly's in the house as well. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you guys are hitting the thumbs up. I hate pressing that, but please, it helps out the show. The earlier, the better. Hit that thumbs up. Tell your friends to help us subscribe. We're getting little by little growth here on the channel. We'd like to get a lot more, so spread the word, birds. I appreciate everybody's help out there with getting the word out on what we're doing every Thursday night here. Great. Thank you all for being a part of the show. Let's bring on the guys who really matter, like Doc. What's up?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Excited? So,
well, I'm kind of
my last show.
Before
Full fact, my last show is age 44. Next time you see him, I'll be even older, more crotchety bastard, as DH likes to say, at 45. So birthday's Tuesday. I'm kind of ecstatic. I'm excited. Going to Smackdown tomorrow.
Can we sing to you?
No, fuck no.
Ray will sing to you.
Happy birthday, you cantankerous old fuck.
Yeah, happy birthday, bitch.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, does it look like an old 90s screensaver?
Oh. We're going to go there.
Well, I wanted you to feel at home with antiquated technology. Like maybe we should have an AOL dial-up tone, nice. Back from whenever you first used the internet and used to wank off the pictures downloading pixel by pixel by pixel.
Hey, man, that's what gave that was like foreplay.
Whenever you were trying to jerk it to Farrah Fawcett was probably something.
Wow, Farrah Fawcett. More like Alicia Silverstone. Come on now.
Summers.
Oh, Jesus.
As you notice, we are down a man this week. We are missing my tag team partner, my cohort, and the other cantankerous old bastard on this show. CJ is ill, so you're riding with the three amigos tonight.
And you guys get to go to SmackDown tomorrow night. I will be going little Wu-Tang. I'm going to see Jizza, one of my childhood heroes. So I'll see him in a very small venue, and you guys will be at SmackDown. So make sure you get some good
Cody,
as always.
Bodie already runs a Cody Rhodes shirt. It's gonna be crazy.
I have a feeling he has an uncle that'll make that happen.
Oh, Jesus! He wants the weight belt. I'm like, yo, come on now, because
I will get him the weight belt as long as you let him give you 3 lashings with it.
Ooh!
What the fuck? I thought he liked Cody Rhodes, not MJF. Jesus!
Let's get to some of the action.
Thank you guys for the wishes.
Yeah, everyone's wishing Doc a happy birthday.
Hey, we're just remember though, the next episode it should be the special birthday episode. I'm just saying, just I'll even wear a hat that says birthday. I'll wear a sash, birthday bitch. We'll have fun.
You guys have seen obviously the Grinch movie and read the Grinch book, where at the end his heart grows 3 sizes. After Doc's birthday, his balls will sag 3 more inches.
Oh
wow!
They probably will. I don't want to know. Let's give our 2 cents about Revolution and change the subject quick. You got him out there feeding the fire too. Look.
I'm still laughing about that shit. I don't care. That was a good one. God damn.
It was pretty good.
This man's watched too many roasts in his time.
If you can't make fun of yourself and your friends, what are you doing?
I know, right? Seriously, what makes it funny?
He got called a booger. I've been called a lot worse. I'm sure he's been called a lot worse too.
Do you real quick? That's funny. Can I play off of her for a second when she says the booger thing? It's nothing towards him. There was a kid in my because I do mental health therapy. You know, I could talk about something without using names and I'll get in trouble. Anyways, this kid was like, "What should I do? Like, this guy keeps picking on me, keeps calling me all these names, and a lot of them are just ignorant slurs and things like that." And I said, "Okay, hold up." I was like, "Why don't you try something opposite instead of calling him like a motherfucker or something?" And the kid was like, "Well, what should I do?" And I was like, and I have to give it up to my late friend Jody, who passed away from leukemia years ago. He did this thing once where he's online, and we have a friend named Jason. Jason kept talking shit, and Jody's like, "You know something? You like boogers." And it just stuck. And his Facebook was full of like Booger Man, if you remember that video game, that sensation, and all these things about boogers. So I told the kid, do that. Just before he goes tells on the teacher, because we don't want him to get
You're going to get this kid beat up.
I told him, I was like, you need to look that kid in the face and be like, "You like boogers."
Look, here's a public service announcement for all of you watching. By the way, tell your friends about the damn podcast. We're trying to grow the channel. We need your all help to do it. Tell your friends that like wrestling, repost our post, anything like that. But anyways, I always subscribe to the Bugs Bunny Elmer Fudd thing. Now, I am, in our group of friends, I am I guess you could call me slightly a bully, but in a good way, because I can pick on you, but if anybody else does, I'll beat the shit out of them.
Can't call you Bully Ray, though. That's already
but the you know, I like to joke around with my friends, as you guys have seen, and you know, I'm sure you know by now. But I always love the Bugs Bunny Elmer Fudd thing. No matter how mean someone is to you, kiss them, compliment them. Whenever they're like, "You're a piece of shit," and be like, "Really?" Because you're a wonderful human being.
It's kind of good world.
And they just don't know what to say. Like, what do you say to that?
You know, did that once. I remember this. We were
I have done it before.
But then you punched him in the face after you told me he's a great person.
Well, I mean, I'm a different breed. I didn't say do as I do. I'm trying to give advice here.
Okay,
I told my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and I told her the same thing. I'm like, at first, if somebody's, running their mouth on you, picking on you, compliment them over and over again, because they're going to be so confused they're not going to know what to do. And then if they don't stop, you curl up your 5 little digits and you knock the ever loving shit out of them, and then tell them to call my dad, and I'll say it's fine. But you don't want to resort to that immediately. Most of the time, you confuse a bully, because most of the people who truly bully and they do it to keep other people down, it's because they're morons. And I'm just being honest. They don't have any self-confidence, so they pick on other people. They're jerks, whatever. And as raising, like I said, I've raised my kid now to 16. I have a lot of other kids that call me dad, even though I'm not their actual dad.
I call him daddy sometimes, but that's a different story.
Well,
hey now.
It's one of those things, man. Like, I feel like there's not enough advice out there for the kids going through that stuff. And
true.
And it's one of those things, man. Like, just if somebody's really ragging on you, really picking on them, compliment the shit out of them. It's going to confuse them so bad they're not going to know what to do. They're either going to leave you alone, or they're going to be so confused that they don't know how to come back. Like, they'll try maybe once. There you go, Hot Wheels.
And then throw.
You could run them the fuck over. They'll try to come back on you maybe one more time, and they'll give you like a half-ass kind of insult, and then you compliment them again, and then like the brain just malfunctions. They don't know what to do. And 99 times out of 100, they're just going to walk away.
Well, come to a wrestling show, get a public service announcement, learn how to live, get some life lessons. It's actually great advice, really. Troll the troll is what we do here on YouTube. People come in, they want to be a troll, they want to be an asshole, dig right back into them. So we'll get the real fighting now, as much as it's real to us. Pro wrestling.
Still real to me, damn it.
AEW Revolution. We're going to skip the pre-show stuff and go right to the first match. They kicked it off with Starks and Jericho. Actually, Doc, you are still the picker champ, but I'm your new tag partner again. So that's like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Wow, really? I didn't think I won this time.
You know what I found funny about this match, and not the actual match, period, but just the placement? So this was supposed to be second. This was supposed to be second on the card. Okay. Every rundown, everything had the casket or the Buried Alive match as being the opener. But last week, TikTok blew up with a video from Jericho being on the Steve Austin podcast. And he talked about how insulted he was by him and Kevin Owens' WrestleMania match after the Festival of Friendship and all that happened, going on second. And he said that, we could have been the opener. Like the opener is a great spot. We should have been co-main event because that was the best story at that time. Blah blah blah. But it's kind of funny to me how that video blew up last week, and then all of a sudden they changed the placement of this match as this match was supposed to be second on the card, and then a little politicky stroke, and we're opening the night.
I guess so.
But I kind of I liked how they did it.
I enjoyed it. It was a good match.
Now, I think the intriguing part, number one, still Chris Jericho looks weird in this picture to me for some reasons. I don't know what it is.
Oddly portioned there.
Yeah, like it's his head from 5 years ago, but his body from, I don't know. Anyhow, the interesting part to me was after the match, we get a little surprise. Yes, Ricky Starks wins. Everybody but CJ called that one here on the panel. But then, wait a minute. Where's my fucking slide?
Where did it go? Who knows?
It'll probably be later on then if it's not right here. I thought I moved it.
We're just going to have a random Ricky Stark slide.
I guess so.
Well, wait a minute. If you're going to talk about this, of what happened on Dynamite, maybe that's what happened, right? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I thought I moved that to here. We'll get to the Dynamite. Let's just move on to the next one. That's my bad. Well,
at least Jericho did the right thing, though, and put Starks over.
Yeah, and he's gold. He's been one of my favorites of all time for such a long time because of that, because of his involvement. He's always changing, and the fact that he isn't afraid to put over the younger talent, which is a recurring theme in this pay-per-view. We talked about how a lot of the younger talent had the titles, and it really showed in this pay-per-view that the pillars really stood up. So in this one, we had Jack Perry and Christian Cage. I think this one I do have a picture of. Some of the stuff that went down, because I was happy they changed it from no holds barred. They kind of, I was bitching about no holds barred last week. Like, what holds are barred? Which holds can we use now that we couldn't?
I threw a fit too because it's such a similar thing to the Texas Death Match.
Yep.
So I am happy that they changed the stipulation, and it made for a different thing. I mean, we had, obviously the Mox and Page match, which we're going to get to, was batshit crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The final burial, or is it the first burial? It was
I mean, and it made sense. This has been a long-running storyline, so to get some finality like this from them, I dug it.
I liked it too.
Dug it. Nice pun. You dug it.
I like the fact that he cried when he dropped him in. And the reason being is, this is he was like a father figure to him, and what happened with his father in real life, and then this, it was very emotional. I liked how they did this. It was very good storytelling. And just the fact that it showed that, Jungle Boy didn't want to do it. No matter what the fuck Christian did to him, he still was kind of hesitant. I mean, you saw that a couple weeks ago when he was going to concerto him and he thought about it, and then Christian was able to capitalize on that. But here's my question. Is this the last time you've seen Christian Cage on AEW television?
That's a good question. The thing I really like too was what we've seen casket matches before, where they have next to the ring. We've seen buried alive matches before. This one, I really like now we've had failed effects in AEW, exploding barbed wire rings and spots that we can talk about later that look like shit when they fall on some cardboard. But when this casket dropped, that looked really phenomenal to me.
Yeah,
like it just disappeared. Like I've never seen that.
They said it was apparently a experienced stuntman that has worked with WWE before. That was the stunt producer for the thing. So, he had experience in making things like that work and do that. And it shows. I mean, like you said, it went off without a hitch. It looked really good. It was a cool kind of twist to both the stipulations of just a casket match or just, the buried alive match. Christian worked his ass off to put Jungle Boy over and make him look great. And Jungle Boy is if he gains 30 pounds, the kid's going to be.
Yeah, that's his only thing. Look more physically imposing if he can.
But he's young still. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, these are babies we're talking about, a lot of them.
You don't hit your physical peak till between 27 and 30 years old as far as, your true physical peak of where you could be. So, I mean, he still has
Jericho and Sting, their 50s and 60s, still looking great.
And then
and Billy Gunn.
As far as Christian goes, I believe, I'm not 100% sure if anybody in the comments wants to Google it up. I think Christian signed a 3-year deal when he signed with the company.
Okay.
This would be in year 2. So I think he still has another year left on his contract. I think it was a 3-year deal.
we all picked Jack Perry to go over, and he did. So I think the final burial, I was joking with the first burial final because it's the first casket type match here in AEW. But I think the final burial led to the fact that this should be the end of this feud. I think it's
absolutely.
So, and it's a great, like you said, what better way to end it when a monumental, like unique match like this? I can do without the spot where they stick something in someone's mouth and do a crossface. They've done it a lot. I mean, they did it with the shovel. It's a little different, but. And I'm just nitpicking. I loved it. I was so happy it was a burial instead of just no holds barred.
What's kind of funny about that is the Edge connection again.
Yeah.
That's something that Edge has started doing with the piece of the chair.
Yep.
And then Christian does it. You know what I mean? Like,
those two should be tied at the hip no matter what. And if they get little digs from company to company, that's great. I mean, little.
Well, that makes you wonder, like, if Christian called him and was like, hey, man, do you have any ideas here? Or, you know, and he's like, yeah, try this spot. This always looks cool.
Well, the trios match, I was the only one that thought that the Elite could retain. And it was time to put the House of Black on. I don't complain about it. I think it's a great move. And especially when we see what we're going to do with Kenny Omega in the future, I kind of agree with the decision to give Elite the run. And the only thing I kind of wish they would fall back on a little bit, and you guys tell me what you think about it, the lights out stuff. Like, I get it, but I don't want it to be overdone. Right now, it's kind of at the boiling point. What do you think, Ray?
I mean, I get what you're saying too. However, that is their shtick. You know what I mean? Like,
they teleport. But here's the problem. And they did it the other night. You get the light on, like, and you see him sneaking out of the ring, and you see Herd's climbing out of the ring, and it's like, there goes the mystique behind it. If you can pull it off really well, sure.
However, this was step one. As I said, I think the House of Black should now be the, you know, like, this should be their division. Like, they should have a super long run, work with everybody. The match was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really to me, it was match of the night, and I'm not taking anything away from any of the other matches on the card, because there was a lot of good wrestling, a lot of great matches on the card. But the chemistry of these guys is amazing, and I hope that this is I know we're getting when we get to Dynamite, we're getting the three-way next week, but I hope that the Elite feud with the House of Black, one, to help make them not only credible but legitimize their reign. But I want to see Kenny Omega versus Buddy Matthews. I want to see Kenny versus Malachi Black. I want to see the Bucks versus Brody and Buddy, in a section of matches until we get a few rematches for these belts.
Brandon Ace always has good points, and this is kind of a point. This is a great – you can put these six in a match no matter what and have great stuff, just like we talked about the Lucha Brothers. There really wasn't a lot of backstory to this. I mean, if you want to go back to the House of Black, teasing to want to get to these for a while and, their mystique maybe. But, yeah, there could have been more story to it. I can see that, but I'm not mad at it because like you said, what a great fight.
I definitely think that he's 100% right. I think we should have had another 3 months to build up to the change, but in the adverse, we can have 3 months where the Elite is trying to retain or trying to regain their titles and really see some dominance from the House of Black in that. And like I said, right now, there's just nothing for the House of Black to do. I mean, I would love Malachi to go after MJF, but that's not the storyline right now. No. But the House of Black, in my opinion, are kind of walking that line of the anti-heroes at this point. Yeah. They're getting cheered more than booed.
One of the best entrances in wrestling right now, too.
They're kind of a tweener right now, which is really awesome because that means they can work with absolutely anybody, it'd be a cool storyline. So, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that this is one of the longer title runs that AEW has, because the House of Black should be featured. That should be one of your main sets of players. And when they come out of this, it should be right to the main event for Malachi.
I think a lot of people can see Malachi being, like you're saying, main event and stuff. But what do you think, Doc? You can't have everybody at the top, Monstar. I mean, I agree where you're saying he could definitely be a top star. But I don't really think it's a waste. It's somewhere where he's still prominent. He still has a title.
I like it. I like what's going on right now. And the thing is, this is the House of Black. That's what they're good at. They're good at attacking people when they are very unexpected. They're like, I don't want to say
exactly
snakes,
what I'm saying, Brandon X.
Yep.
And I mean,
the
thing is, I hope House of Black holds on to it. I like Brandon Ace's idea about a year, and I think that this is what will finally establish all three of these gentlemen as a force. And the only reason that I like the fact that it was on the Elite's dime, is the fact that the Elite can lose those and not lose any credibility whatsoever. None.
True.
And I like how they're throwing the JAS in there a little bit. So, I like how House of Black's like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll fight you both. It was like, they didn't give a shit. They're like, whoever.
Well, it's also there if you think about it. So next week, we get the Winnipeg connection. They're in Winnipeg. It's a great storyline. But this means Sammy Guevara or Daniel Garcia can take the pin next week. And then the Elite can still be like, you didn't beat us. We didn't beat you. We still deserve another shot to keep that going. And when we get to the main event and we talk about, what's next to come for MJF, I'll tell you why I think that's a smart thing. I don't want to let it out of the bag now because it's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. But there is a reason I think that we need to keep Kenny tied up in this feud for the next 3 months or so, as them trying to get the belts back before he sprouts back off to his singles career.
So there was only one women's match in the show, and I really hoped we would have saw Jade Cargill fight someone. She actually has challenged someone Canadian. Did you guys have any ideas? I know Taya Valkyrie is the name that's been thrown around.
That's what I'm thinking.
Do you guys have any thoughts on that as we go into the women's title match here? We'll get to talk about the ladies. Jade Cargill. I mean, I still think Chris Statlander should be the one to take the title from her when she comes back, because she was the one initially supposed to push her to the limit and possibly.
I disagree. I think your third woman,
or Monet.
I think your third woman, as we saw Ruby Soho flip and team with Saraya and Toni Storm. I think your third homegrown woman to team with Hayter and Britt and even the odds should be Chris Statlander. There since day one. They've been trying to get her out of the alien gimmick into a more serious thing. And think about how good they would be together. I mean, we floated around the idea of Riho. We floated around the idea of Hikaru Shida. But think about it. Who fits the most in there? Who's been there since day one?
Yeah.
And who fits with Britt and Jamie and having that kind of and would benefit the most? And I think it's a returning Chris Statlander.
Yeah, I think Athena fits well with the freelancers too if they ever want to, but she's right now tied up with ROH.
And you could go that route if we are going to get to a blood and guts match with them. Then maybe Athena joins, and then maybe we get Hikaru Shida joining the homegrown talent.
The only one I don't know about is Thunder Rosa because her and Britt have issues.
Well,
I don't know if Thunder fits in that group. I don't think.
Yeah, but if it makes money, they're gonna have to suck it up and do it.
You think? I mean,
I don't see that happening. One, she's on commentary right now, and I heard that she's still a little ways away from her back being able to compete again. But again, I think the bad blood between her and Britt. I mean, they're both professionals. Anything can be worked out, I'm sure. But it also doesn't totally fit. Like she doesn't. Her promo style, the look, everything doesn't kind of go together. We talked about this a few weeks ago with Ruby, how I said that the look, the style, everything really fits. The history fits with her teaming with Saraya and Toni Storm. And then she flips on Sunday. She cut a great promo, probably her best promo in the company last night on Dynamite.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was the best storytelling in this storyline so far with her promo, because she actually gave you a reason why she turned heel. She gave some substance to the heel turn, which we haven't got from Saraya and Toni. Saraya and Toni have just been going like that over-the-top heel, which I love, don't get me wrong. And I love how they're kind of modeling it after the NWO. I hope that they lean into that a little more, too. I want to see some vignettes with them with a green filter on. And
the new women's order.
Making fun of Britt Baker and making fun of Jamie Hayter. Bring their indie career into it about how they wrestled in front of 15 people and stuff and make fun of them about we were in the big leagues. Lean into that shit because it's a great storyline. Why not use it? But like I said, that's where I think Statlander should come back. I think Jade Cargill should eventually team with the homegrown talent. Like how you said, Athena maybe adds to the outsiders.
Yeah.
If you want to call them that, whatever you want to call them. I think maybe Jade flips face, turns
He's already getting cheered. Jade.
Is it Madison Rain from Canada?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but do you really want to do that? I mean, she's kind of.
It's going to be somebody else for her to roll through. I mean,
if it's right now, I'm like the same thing. Once they threw Taya's name out there, if it's not her, I'll be a little disappointed. But we'll see where it goes. Go ahead.
I think the person to finally beat Jade Cargill is the girl you mentioned. I don't think she's right in this thing, but I think Thunder Rosa, when she finally returns, with that babyface underdog thing that she's so good at, that would be great to finally take the title off of Jade.
Now, we don't do these picks to say we're right or we told you so. We're just shooting the shit talking about wrestling. But I did have this one almost nailed. I said we don't have a reason Ruby Soho was going to turn heel. So I was hoping this would happen. I was the only one that kind of said Hayter would retain and we would finally have a reason Soho could join them. So it did work out. I got lucky on that one. But I'm with you. I'm okay with this story. A lot of people are like, why? And, Brandon, other people are like, why are you doing WWE versus this? Because it kind of makes sense at this point. And they do have, in my opinion, a really good women's division they need to start showing off. This match was better. Saraya's going to get a little better. I think I like her better with a meaner, evil chip on her shoulder.
I think Saraya's all the way back. Her ring work has been a hell of a lot better.
Yep. From the first match was looked bad.
Doc, was it you or was it Bobby that pointed out the green hair on Ruby?
Bobby.
So we watched that whole match, and then she flips and turns, and then she's walking out, and Bobby was like, our friend Bobby was watching the pay-per-view with us, and he was like, you should have known she was going to flip. Her hair's black and green.
Yeah.
We didn't notice the whole damn time that she had that kind of callback to their color scheme, their everything in her hair, and then she flips and turns, and you're like, you son of a bitch. I
don't know what kind of spray paint they're using, but it's weak as shit. It's like they have to, is it some kind of just washes off or something, I'm guessing.
I'm sure it is, but I did like in the pre-show when Tony Storm spray painted the L on RJ City.
Yeah. I like his interviews in that pre-show thing. I like that. It was entertaining.
He's trying to get himself over a little too much, but I do like the style of it being more entertaining than just a straight man, you know what I mean?
And we talked about them, putting the belt on Saraya because she came over, and she's probably in there sooner or later to get one. But I'm glad they kept it on Hayter. She needs more validity behind it, and she's a great champion in my opinion. I'm digging it so far. Texas Death Match. I was very pleasantly surprised in this fight, and I know we're not going to get to Revolution. Dynamite yet, but he did not bleed on Wednesday. I don't know if anyone caught that. Moxley did not bleed in a match on Wednesday, so. It's not every
load. Jesus is load.
There's a great TikTok floating around out there. Somebody filmed from the first row of Moxley blading.
Yeah.
He didn't even hide it. He didn't cover his face or not. He was just like, "Fuck it."
This match is what I expected it to be. A lot of blood, a lot of weapons.
It was better than I anticipated.
A lot of weird spots.
It was a really. I loved how they did this. Loved it.
It wasn't the same spots. Like we didn't get thumbtacks. We didn't get the same. The use of barbed wire was excessive, but great because they use it in creative ways, like him wrapping it around his body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Him wrapping it around himself and things like that. And
like I said, it was great. It's Hangman. Now it has a name for a reason. Hangman.
In my opinion, Hangman looked like a badass. Moxley looked like a badass. And it was two bulls just beating the shit out of each other. And I loved it. I do not dig Hangman's new music.
Oh, you don't like that?
It's already gone. It's already gone.
Yeah, it was only for that pay-per-view apparently because Wednesday I was watching for that.
Yeah,
did he use his regular music Wednesday?
He used his regular music when he came out there.
I saw the thing, but I think I fast-forwarded through the intro and I never backed up to see if it was changed or not. It was cool as like a one-off thing, but I actually really like Hangman's entrance.
Me too. Pillar to Post, what's up, Pete, my friend? I'll have Pete and Vince McSham on my channel next Sunday. We'll be talking WWE 2K23, which is coming out on Tuesday. Got a lot of information this week on that game, but we're going to save that. My man, Pillar to Post, Pete, and Vince McSham will be with me to get blazed and talk a little video game. So Hangman getting a win. Again, I think it's the right call. And once again, we got not really that he's a homegrown talent, but compared to Moxley, more so.
Well, it also gives you, I don't know if again, we're going to get to Dynamite, but on Dynamite, the BCC really went heel. Wheeler Yuta has been being a heel, even though the group wasn't heel for the last few weeks in all of his actions and promos. Last night, we saw Claudio lean into it, and we saw Ambrose lean into it. And that could be part of the reason why is the loss to Hangman. And I love that. I'm all for a Blackpool Combat Club heel turn.
Cool. Yeah. Or eventually a split, if anything, even if they split completely, because we'll talk about Bryan Danielson in a little while too. Wardlow.
I was not. It was, I don't know. There's something about the match. I think because of where it was placed. I think it was was it after Moxley, and that's why.
Yep.
You lost so much into that, and it took away from this one. It did. I was involved a little bit, but I wasn't involved a little bit. I was too busy looking at my son's awesome Christmas present, which we're going to show later on tonight here.
These are two of my favorite people, honestly. Like, I love Joe. I've been a huge Joe fan for, as long as I can remember, since TNA. And Wardlow is a great up-and-comer. I'm a little baffled by why they did what they did with him. The match could have been better. It wasn't terrible, but like you said, the crowd was just out of steam for this match, and that hurt the match.
It was a tough spot to be after Hangman and Moxley. I agree.
Absolutely. And then you have, the 3-day reign by Wardlow. Granted, it was an eventful one. By the fact that he got all of his shit and the belt stolen. But in my opinion, Wardlow's the only credible challenger for MJF right now. So why not have Powerhouse Hobbs interfere in the match, costing Wardlow the match? Give him a reason to come out of it clean. I get him winning, but then if you're going to just have him drop it to Hobbs in 3 days, why not have him interfere in the match? Joe be pissed that he interfered in his match. Joe versus him on Wednesday. Wardlow interferes and cost him the title. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'm trying to be wait and see on this because I'm with you. I didn't like. Normally we talked about it before. Hot potato in a title can be okay if it makes sense, but this one was a little weird. I agree.
I mean, the only plus side of it, I guess, is the unpredictability thing. Like, do you want to show that shit can change at any time, anything can happen, blah blah blah. And I heard they're in for a monster push for Hobbs, which I'm all for. I think he's I think he's an amazing talent.
There's a lot of us on board on the Hobbs train.
Yeah, can't be mad at. As much as I'm a Wardlow fan, I wasn't mad when he lost it.
Listen, Bodie actually cheered for Hobbs last night, and he's a huge Wardlow fan. The only reason he cheered for Hobbs was because, Hobbs was good to him in Chicago.
Like I said, my problem is this. Okay, if you look at the roster right now, and you look at your world heavyweight champion, MJF, he just beat the best wrestler in the world, or at least one of the best wrestlers in the world, in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah.
70-minute Iron Man match, actually.
Yeah, he did.
He's went and done the dog collar match with Punk. Granted, he lost that match. So right now, in my opinion, there's only 3 men on the roster that are a credible World Heavyweight Championship feud for MJF. CM Punk, who's not coming back yet. He's not medically cleared. But Punk has the victories over MJF and could be like, I beat you.
You really think we're gonna see? You really still think we're gonna see him on TV again?
I do too. At this point, I've
money's money,
back.
bro.
Yeah, I've switched back. If they're mentioning his name in stuff, I think they may bring him back. That's more likely.
Crushing
Otherwise,
Kelly,
they're telling him don't say his name.
Crushing Kelly has a point. If you would like to throw that up there, Blaze, for a minute.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah. He could be the one. Yeah.
Could be something. So we
Good
have
job there,
Punk.
my sweet. Good job.
We have Punk. We know that can't be Punk right now, at least, because he's a month or 2 away from what I've heard.
Yeah.
You have Kenny
What's that
Omega.
lock? Okay.
You have Kenny Omega. He's never beat Omega. Omega's the best wrestler in the world, in my opinion, even better than Danielson. So we have that, but he's involved in the feud with the Elite and the House of Black. I think he should stay there for right now. And then you have the only other man who's beat MJF in his only singles match, his former bodyguard. That storyline is right there. It's Wardlow. Wardlow has a claim to be the number 1 contender because he pinned MJF. And we just jobbed him out.
Could definitely tie the loose ends together if they were like, hey, let's push him up to that and give him a program with MJF and tie those loose ends. Why not protect him
then at Revolution? Like I said, have Hobbs interfere.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we will get to what ended up happening with this title and other title information we get to Dynamite. But yes, Wardlow did get the title back. I think we all called that one. Yeah, we all called that one. Then we had the tag team match. We didn't know who the 4th team was going to be until just a few days before, and we found out Orange Cassidy, Danhausen made it. And I tell you what, there was one spot in this match where I thought they were going to give the belts to Orange and Danhausen. There was one spot a near fall where I was like, holy shit, I really thought they were going to do it. Doc, did you enjoy the mishmash of all these teams?
If you go back to the episode, I called it. I said someone needs to eat that pin, not the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
And that's why poor Danhausen took the was it down? Yeah, Danhausen took the pin.
Yes, sir. You are
So,
100% correct.
and I mean, I hate to say it, I mean, that gives the Guns that slippery, slipping away win. But it was really awesome, especially at the end, because next thing you know, you hear that music kick. And of course, I had to be taking a piss when that happened. I always pick the worst times. And
before we get to that, because I have a slide for that, because you guys are always on top of it. I thought this was hilarious what the Guns did at Revolution. They put these out on people's chairs to tell them not to chant "Who's your daddy" or "Daddy's favorite" or "Ass Boys." That they're not the Ass Boys, and it's just crying. Please chant it more. I love it.
Well, I'll tell you what we're seeing right now. We're seeing legitimate go away heat turn to proper heat. And the thing that happened most recently that you can compare this to is Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio went from go away heat where people just didn't even want to see him wrestle. They hated the heel turn. They hated all this stuff. To now he's one of the most over heels in WWE. Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to see that with the Guns. The Guns are talented. Don't get it wrong.
They are. They're fun to watch.
But we're going now from that go away heat to this kind of like, okay, these guys are actually good heels. We're starting to hate them for the right reasons, not just because I don't want to see them on my TV. This was a genius move.
So good.
Fucking great.
Classic.
And, the tie back, and I brought this up last week about, them doing the funeral for FTR and them beating FTR and blah, blah, blah. And now this is going to be a great feud. And who fucking better for them to work with than FTR to help them come along a little bit more? Dax and Cash are going to call matches for these guys that make them look like stars. And, I hope that FTR do get the belts back. I hope that FTR do re-sign a contract. There's a bunch of shit floating around. If they re-sign, that's bullshit. Dax said it on his podcast. They have not re-signed anything. They're still free agents at the end of April. But I hope they do re-sign, and I hope we do see another FTR title reign because in my opinion, they are the absolute, hands down, best tag team in wrestling.
So,
period.
Doc, you brought it up. They came out at the end of the match, and we're going to get them right back into the title picture. I agree. So, what's your thoughts and Bodie's too? Whenever FTR finally came out, and we got that I said we needed something huge. We talked about Punk and FTR. I'm happy we got one. It's
I love
big
that
news
Dax
to
got
me.
hard weight 10 seconds into it too.
How did he get cut? I don't even see.
He got cut on a boot when he picked him up. It got caught here, and it went.
I didn't even see it.
Yep, just opened and bred up. And if you look at what happened on Wednesday, there's nice little stitching, a nice little stitch job for him. Just a simple fact is a lot of people thought these guys were going back to WWE. There was a tweet where the WWE, it looked like a contract was on the table.
That was Dax just playing with people.
Yes,
man.
But he did good.
Great
he did good.
Job.
And now look. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see them and the Guns go at it for a couple months and have it build. And I'm hoping that, I would like to see, as much as I doubt it, I would like to see CM Punk back, and I would like to see them team up with the girls and just have the whole, hey, we came from WWE clan kind of like.
Speaking of the girls,
that'd be great.
There was news that the Bellas were backstage. We all know one's married to Bryan Danielson. I do not want them anywhere near wrestling ever again, in my opinion.
Well, Nikki can't wrestle. She's come out and said that with her neck, she just can't get cleared.
I don't want
now. Might that change in a few years? I mean, we saw the stuff with Saraya change. We saw the stuff with Bryan change, Edge. So I mean, it's not a never say never, but I highly doubt it. Bree, on the other hand, you never know. But one thing I want to say about them going FTR back to them going back to WWE, I feel like they're in the same boat as Moxley. Mox has come out and said flat out he will never go back to WWE unless they give him free reign, because he will never read from a script again. He will never be told this is such good shit. He will never be pushed to that because he knows his character better than anybody. And I feel like FTR are in the same boat. Yes, you could go make more money. I'm not saying that. And if you want to do that, I get it. However, these guys don't need a filter. These guys don't need a writer. Yeah. Unless Triple H brought them back and just gave them the bullet points and let them do their thing like he does with Cena, which, very few people get that. Roman Reigns gets that, Brock Lesnar gets that, and John Cena gets that. And as far as I know, that's it. But unless they're going to get that treatment of, like, how do how do you, after seeing what these guys can do with the chains off, restrict them again?
I don't want to see
in my
it.
opinion, you can't. And as much as I've been listening to Dax's podcast now since it started, it's phenomenal. It's one
Everyone's
of the better,
saying it's good. I need to watch it.
it's one of the better podcasts out there because he's honest. He's honest about it. But he talks so much about their legacy and what he wants to leave and the history and like what he wants to leave as their, you know, their impression on the wrestling business. And I'm sorry, you can't do that back in WWE right now. You just can't. Hopefully Triple H trends more in that direction. Time will tell. But to me, it's creative suicide for them to go back to WWE at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought at first, like, the Jerichos, the Moxleys to go back to get into the Hall of Fame or something. But like you said, Moxley and even Jericho have kind of said they don't really want to. And if they're happy.
Well, Jericho's a different animal. I think Jericho will go back, have a WrestleMania match, get inducted at some point. It'll be at the very tail end of his career, maybe another 3, 4, 5 years from now, because I feel like he's still having fun. And if you've noticed, in the last 2 years, he's slowed down how much he works. Whereas in the first 2 years of AEW, he was working a shit ton. And I feel like he's starting to back that off a little bit to get, you know, a few more years out of him. But I do definitely think he goes back for either a WrestleMania spot or something like that. It might not even be a full match. Maybe he does a run-in or something. And then a Hall of Fame induction. Moxley, at the same token, he's going to get inducted to the Hall of Fame at some point. He's a multi-time world champion. The Shield will probably get inducted at some point because, I mean, they had a great run and 3 world champions came out of, you know, a faction. How often does that happen? You know, at some point it makes sense, but I don't see Moxley ever going back and being, you know, again, unless things change. And I feel the same way for FTR. Like, they're not a Hall of Fame team as far as WWE goes. But I can't see them going back and being told what to say again. Like, they're just too fucking good.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can still work the indies and go work New Japan, I think that's
I think that's a big point with some of these. It seems like at least I've never talked to them individually, but you mentioned world champions, and it's now time to talk about the world title fight. 1 hour. I was very skeptical about watching an hour. We haven't seen that much out of MJF. But this one exceeded all expectations, in my opinion. But before we get to the actual match, let's talk about this. Well, fuck the kids, I guess. But first of all, let me. It's not a plant. We've already established that. I talked to a bunch of people on these different podcasts to establish this was not a plant. What is this kid doing, though? Why is he sitting down with his head down when there's a wrestler right there?
Well, he's probably intimidated. Hold on, let me please.
What is this?
He was intimidated. I mean, MJF's an opposing figure, regardless how you look at it. They're fighting. He sees him walk up to his mom. He sits down. He doesn't want anything to do with him. And then MJF just turned around and saw it, smelled it from a mile away, and was like, "Okay, here we go." Boom.
Also, word that it was tequila, not water.
I was gonna say 2 things about this though. One, the kid's favorite wrestler is Will Hobbs. He hates MJF. That was all already stated. 2, in MJF's defense, the mom is holding a clear liquid in a big cup.
Yeah,
he assumed it was just water that he was throwing on the kid. He did not know that was tequila he threw in that poor kid's eyes. So that, I mean, I get it. MJF plays his character to the fucking max, and that's what's great about him.
Max fun.
I fucking loved it. I popped hard over it. Me and Doc.
I just wanted to F them kids.
Rumor has it that he did apologize to the kid, but he apologized as MJF would apologize to him. I guess Tony walked out and said, "Say something, let's go." And I guess he was like, "I'm sorry, you little bastard," or something real like MJF, like the way MJF.
He does not break character. He is a method actor, dude.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, and I think I got another screenshot of it later. I don't know if I put it on there tonight.
He's going to be in Monroeville in 3 weeks, guys.
At the scrum after this show, they specifically asked about this, and Tony Khan said him and MJF had a serious conversation about it. How much do you believe that?
Oh, I believe he did.
How serious of a conversation, though?
I definitely believe it because I mean this could have taken a different turn.
Yeah,
this could have been a lawsuit. This could have been assault and battery. MJF could have been arrested because, I mean, the fact that it was tequila.
Yeah.
You're throwing tequila on a minor.
Yeah.
It went into his eye. I mean, this could have had bad written all over. This could have
been.
The
kid's going to be famous now. Situation. Come on, let's be real. The kid's going to be famous now.
Well, everybody knows the name Titus.
Yeah. They're already said that they've invited him to 2 shows. He got all kinds of autograph shit. I mean, Tony's buying his way out of this being a problem. But I guarantee that was a talking to from HR and probably legal.
Yeah. There are other people.
Like, we get it. We get what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like,
let's
but
clear
you got to
be
sure. Like, if you want to do, like, in wrestling, if you want to do something like this, you just tell your booker and they put a plant in the crowd. Or they grab a random kid coming in and coach him through it and offer him $500 to do the spot.
Now I'm thinking last week was all that stuff where he was smacking popcorn and drinks. Was that all not plants too?
That is not plants.
MJF chucked somebody's phone.
Yeah.
MJF gives no fucks, dude.
That's great and crazy all at once. So I'm here for it, but I think they now
the phone person was a plant.
They're going to clear more of this stuff. We're not going to. This is not the end of it. People are talking. I said this the other night, and I was like, hopefully, I know Impact uses Turning Point, but this could be a turning point for this company if they had a really good pay-per-view. They needed one. They finally got almost all their roster back. They needed something to get people talking, whether it was fucking tequila getting thrown on a little kid or something. But even in the scrum, MJF was like, who cares when he was like, oh, we had a serious conversation about it.
He should be. Behind the scenes, he should be apologetic. And I'm sure at some point he was. I'm sure, whatever. But
his gimmick is the devil
cameras. Take it to the fucking max, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
max time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna be that, be that. I loved him coming into the scrum bloody on crutches.
His entrance was amazing.
Best now.
I love his
entrance. Now, Meltzer. It was great.
Yeah.
I love that he's fucking sitting there plugging somebody's pickles and then yells at someone in the back. He's like, come get one of these pickles. Yeah, fucking eat it, moron. And then, you know what I mean? Like,
there he goes. Now get the fuck out of here. It was great. It was great.
It's who the character is, man. And he plays it. He plays it better than anyone else.
And Ray, same point you had earlier about FTR. I don't want to water down MJF in WWE next year.
Bully Ray actually brought that up on Busted Open. They were talking about this, and he said that the biggest problem he sees with MJF going to WWE is that MJF can't be MJF.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I could see MJF main eventing a WrestleMania. I could see MJF being a huge star. The biggest problem is going to be him and himself. He's probably going to get fired for putting his foot in his mouth and saying something he shouldn't or doing something he shouldn't, and it's a publicly traded company. They are not going to give him free reign. The same way that they're not going to give anybody free reign.
Are we looking at a possible match of the year candidate here in this main event?
I'll tell you, it was good. The first 15 minutes, they were trying to find their footing. The last 45 minutes went by quick. You would think watching a 60-minute match, and that's kind of my thing for these long matches is, does it feel like a 60-minute match? Does it feel like an hour that was dragging on and on and on? And this match didn't. It was storytelling at its finest. I mean, they did a great job of breaking up the sections of the matches.
Yeah, fun spots to keep it, instead of just one whole match the whole time. There was little things that happened throughout that like you said, you didn't realize. I love
the nut shot and the fact that it cost 2 pinfalls right away because,
when have we seen that?
But then he got 2 pins right off of it. That was great. That was great storytelling.
The only thing that was a little sketchy is, I think, and I know why, I kind of see why they did it. And I love the match. I think it's match of the year candidate already. But at the end, Tony Khan has decided this will be, a sudden death. Don't you think they should already had that planned if it was a tie? I mean, they should have already had that planned if it was a tie. I mean,
yeah, but you're creating drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think we had to have Tony Schiavone come down the ramp and everything.
That's what I meant.
I think
overproduction
Ryse
of it.
could have made that call in the ring and said, I've been authorized to take this to sudden death if need be, and then they make the announcement and get the pop and all that stuff.
Hour and 7 minutes or whatever.
But if you think about it, like Tony Schiavone hates MJF more than anybody on commentary.
That's
true. Giving him that open opportunity that, haha, I got this fucking bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I get it. As a commentator, as doing it as a commentator myself, like if someone said, this is how you should do this, if someone gave me an opportunity to go down and screw over like J-Rock or somebody like Preston Everest, that piece of shit. Love you, CJ. But like I said, to go down and be that guy to announce that, and then just knowing the fact that you're putting the fucks to somebody, yes, I kind of get
and
why they let Shivani have that shine.
Yeah, Shivani sold that great on things like I'd be glad to, blah blah blah. And he really sold it, and I get it. It's just different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? And I don't think it was wrong in the way it was done by any means.
No, I just thought it was a little weird at that one point, but that's it. So I will jump a little bit because tailing off of this match, we got this scene last night where it's time to go home, he says. And the first thing I thought of was ROH. I didn't think WWE or go home with his wife for a while. Technically, I think it's probably going to be go home with your wife for a while in your family. But I would love for it to be ROH. That's his real home, not WWE. He wasn't found in WWE.
Well, I think first and foremost, he's going to take some time off. Yeah. He's been wrestling every week in that storyline, and obviously, as you can see the KT tape on him, he did legitimately injure his shoulder a few weeks ago, and they're probably going to let him heal up, get him off TV a little bit because he's been all over everything for the last 3 months. When he does come back, it's a tale of two options for me. I love the idea of him going back to Ring of Honor. That would be a big plus for them. But unless
they need a big
unless they sign a true TV deal for Ring of Honor, I don't see a purpose in putting Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson on Ring of Honor at this point, other than maybe a one-off on a pay-per-view to boost a buy rate.
Yeah.
However, if MJF does not lose the title in 6 months, I think Bryan comes back and beats him.
I hope so. He deserves a title reign.
Bryan has the legitimate callback to you never actually beat me. You cheated, you smacked me in the head with the oxygen bottle.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And if MJF runs through the next 2, 3, 4 competitors, and it's like, and he starts doing the thing of who can you put against me now? I've beaten Wardlow. I've beaten, blah, blah, blah. I've beaten blah, blah, blah. And then Bryan's music hits and we get a callback to that. That would be money to me. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. If I was writing it, I don't think I'd let MJF stay champ that long. But if I did, that's the person to me. And I think you have to have Daniel Bryan or Bryan. I keep doing that. Bryan Danielson have an AEW title run just so that he can be I've carried the belt in ROH. I've been the world heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? Like he's literally carried every belt.
At least back by Forbidden Door.
Speaking of belts.
Yes.
It's upside down. Let's just
So now we know who broke into Wardlow's car.
Oh,
we didn't know who broke into. It was Bodie who broke into Wardlow's car and took his TNT title. However, Uncle Ray has done it again. Everybody has made my child into a very spoiled little man, and this was a late Christmas present. But yes, thank you, Uncle DH. As you can see, it is beautiful. It is really nice. Right. So this is. I've always wanted a title, and I never got one. My child owns 2. And the thing is, I'm leaving him things in my will. Obviously, he's going to make it before I do. So guess what? He's going to have these and probably all my other wrestlers. He's just got the greatest collection ever.
I have some title belts some title belts coming to my nephew in my will, too.
Oh, geez. Yes. Uncle Ray said he has some title belts coming to you in his will, too. Oh, boy, right? So we'll say, we'll see you tomorrow. Say, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right. So there you go. Take your title. Go. Quit rubbing it in my face. Thank you so much for that.
A couple little bits of news here that I found through Twitter and stuff. Very interesting to see that after Mania, there won't be the next 3 PLEs are not in America. We got Backlash in Puerto Rico, King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, and Money in the Bank in England. So
why would you put the King and the Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia when you should put that one in London, England?
I agree.
I mean, King, Queen, get it?
And the money should be in Saudi Arabia.
The other problem with that, too, is having an all-women's tournament in Saudi Arabia where they have to be in snowsuits while they wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad
It's
the
just
last
dumb.
time. It wasn't the long T-shirt looking crap. They at least wore gear that covered them up that had, because there's bedazzling shit on everybody anymore. WWE in talks with state gambling regulators to legalize betting. I don't know how
This
it's
is
Colorado.
the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, Colorado and Michigan. What are you thinking? I mean, the first thing in all these articles I read about this was the WWE, if this happens, will have to take all these measures to make sure none of the word gets out on who's going to win. That's the biggest problem. Look what we have right now with dirt sheets and everything.
Well, they're saying that they're not even going to tell the wrestlers the outcome of the match.
Yeah.
Until they're in the ring, but then that's going to affect match quality for big spots.
Yeah, please don't.
It makes no sense.
I don't want that to happen at all.
Let the betting be like it. I mean, they're already betting at DraftKings on WWE events. Is the match going to go more than 10 minutes? Is it going to be a pinfall, a count out, a disqualification, whatever? Let it say that shit, man.
Yeah.
Bet on dumb shit like I'm just going to use Chris Jericho as a thing. Is Jericho going to do the list? Do prop bets like that. Shit like that. We don't need a bet on outcomes. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That is a good point that Atticus has, that Zack Sabre Jr. last week in ROH did legitimately call him out, call Bryan out. So if he does come back, he's got plenty of dream matches, not only there, but also at Forbidden Door. I'd love to see him fight Okada still. WrestleMania's hyping up. Now, are you guys excited about this card here that we got so far or not? I'm in the middle because I would rather see Brock and Gunther or Brock and Bray, but I guess Brock shot down the Bray match. And now there's all these people, and I'm so sick of hearing it. Just because they don't like one of the booking decisions in WWE, they go, well, that means Vince is back and he's made that decision.
I know a lot of people are shitting on that on almost versus Lesnar.
I don't know.
And they should be, honestly. Like, let's be honest. Since Braun versus Omos in Saudi Arabia, Omos has been pretty much absent. I mean, a squash match here or there, but he hasn't really been in storyline.
He's a bodyguard, man.
It doesn't really make sense.
It's for a spot. It's for, can he German suplex him 3 times? Can he get him up in an F5? Oh, yes, he did. Oh, Andre, Hulk Hogan slammed you. Next match.
Yeah, big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be.
In my opinion, what they should have done. In my opinion, what they should have done is this should still be involved with Bobby Lashley. It should be. I'll tell you what. If you can beat, we should have seen the Hurt Business reform. We should have seen night 1. If Brock can beat Omos, he gets another shot at Lashley on night 2. That would make sense. You know what I mean? Something like that would make sense. And then you could still do the Lashley thing, and Lashley could wrestle night 1 versus Bray. I don't think we needed Lashley versus Bray. Honestly, that's the least interested I'm in any fucking storyline for WrestleMania.
There is a rumor that Austin is getting somebody at WrestleMania, and his name is L.A. Knight. Yeah.
I'm totally down for that.
I think it'd be hilarious.
I would do it. Yeah, I'd rather see Omos and Ray. I'm
100% down for that. Again, like,
but do you want to ruin his character? I mean, he's already been fed to Bray. Now you're going to feed him to Austin. Like, what kind of credibility is going to have after that?
In my opinion, LA Knight can lose every match.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Honestly, and how you could rebound him right quick. So we could have LA Knight basically doing the I need a match on WrestleMania. I want to be on WrestleMania, and he never gets an opponent. And then he goes into the ring, and I'm fighting somebody. And then the glass crashes. Every fucking body goes nuts. Austin comes out. They have a 4, 5, 10-minute promo exchange in the ring. And then Austin's like, you know what? Fuck it. Get me a referee out here. What? And beats his ass, stuns him. LA Knight goes off. But then immediately following, we have Money in the Bank coming in a few months. LA Knight needs to be your Money in the Bank winner to reestablish him and let him carry that briefcase just like The Miz did for 6-9 months, being a shitbag heel that he is until he cashes in and legit wins the title.
I love the fact that
Atticus Black, I'm with you on this.
LA Knight is not a young performer either. He's an older talent. He's been around for a little while, and they're investing in him, which I really like to see. Because a year and a half ago, we're talking about Vince saying, "Oh, nobody over 30, nobody that's a amateur wrestler, none of this shit." And I'm like, so I'm glad they're putting some work in on LA Knight, and I don't care as long as he's used. Put him on the mic for a couple minutes, I'm happy. And you can feel the tension in the air start to rise because we're getting closer to Mania. The big matches, they're doing a lot. I think Raw was really fun. SmackDown had some great moments too. I'm starting to get hyped for Mania, I guess is what I'm getting at. And we had
the matches that were announced, like I'm looking forward to Seth and Logan. That's going to be a great match. Logan has done nothing.
Believe it or not.
Logan has done nothing but put out fucking bangers. And then him working with Seth, it's going to be good. Austin and Cena in Theory. I like the way they plotted that out in the promo. I like the way it wasn't just I'm challenging you, I accept, where it was like Cena kind of calling him out and being like, I don't think you're ready, kid. And I like that. I'm sure they're going to have a banger of a match because, again, Theory works his ass off. And Cena, we've seen it 100 times. When he's in there with somebody who can really work, he can make fucking magic. I love the 6-woman tag, which you have up there in the thing.
Me too.
We have 2 legends coming back versus, the main stable of women we have. The only thing that's kind of disappointing about that is that the women's tag titles aren't going to be defended.
Just going to say that. I want the belts on the line.
We saw that injury to Ronda. I'm wondering if that's legit, and maybe that's why they changed up what they were doing.
Maybe. Doc, what do you think about how they did the Sammy thing with Jey Uso?
I loved it.
Turn.
The simple fact is,
very good.
The way they just teased, and it's that little bit of a dangle. He hugs, the cry, that emotion on his face, like, I'm leaving you, brother. I can't do this anymore. He grabbed that shirt and put his fist into his heart, and you were like, damn, Jay's saying goodbye.
Yeah,
this is it. Like Jay's saying, I gotta go. I gotta side with Sammy, and boom, and it was so funny because Bodie's clapping, he's cheering. And as soon as that super kick, his face, he just went.
Keep Sammy relevant.
Loved it. Just loved how they did that. And and Cody came to his rescue. If you notice, there was an interview segment. I think it was when Rick Bogues did the whole, challenged Bronson Reed for, if you look, it's either in the background there, I think.
Yeah, I did see that.
It shows Cody trying to talk to Kevin Owens. Those 3 are going to be in the ring. I'm hoping it's this Friday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I doubt it. You're going to Monday. Yeah, you're going to see all 3 of them in the ring, and Cody's going to go like, you know what, Kevin, I'll help you, but for me to help you, you got to let Sammy help you. You two need to go after the Usos. You 2 are brothers. Go after those brothers.
You're almost right. I like where you're at. Mm-hmm. You're almost right. The catalyst needs to be Cody, though, and you're correct about that. So whether it's Monday night, whether it's, whatever, I think you have Sammy getting attacked again by the Usos, Solo Sikoa, whatever. And we have a similar instance to what we had Friday or Monday night where Cody's music hit, he clears the ring, and then Cody gets on the mic and cuts a promo that I'm sick of this. Like, the bloodline's going to go down. I'm going to take Roman down. You need to take the Usos down. And he calls out Kevin and say, like past is the past, history is history. You 2 are best friends forever. Like, Cody needs to be the catalyst. 1, it helps bridge the gap for Kevin and Sammy. 2, it helps Cody get even more over as that ultimate baby face that, you know what I mean? I'm bringing this together. We're going to take down the bloodline.
Look at the picture beside you. I mean, my God, Cena passed the torch to him that night. That's passing the torch.
That has been a great fucking theme too with Triple H. We saw the Bray Wyatt and Undertaker thing, where he kind of passed the torch. I
love it.
We saw the Cena and Cody thing. There's one other one. Which one am I missing? He did this with somebody else just recently too.
He did The Rock. I mean, him and The Rock had that passed to him.
Not The Rock. I'm talking like literally just in the last month or 2. He had another legend. Fuck. It'll come to me.
I'm really glad you brought it up, though, Ray, because I was going to say the one thing that I like about the story right now with Sammy and Kevin is Kevin and Sammy didn't just hug and be best friends right away. Like we're getting Kevin's like, no, he didn't want nothing to do with Sammy, even though Sammy left the bloodline. I like that dynamic because otherwise it's predictable. They're going to fight the Usos for the tag title. So they're mixing up. They're keeping us guessing. That's what I love about it is the fact that what you guys just talked about, that they're adding to it instead of just as soon as it happened, Kevin Owens could have hugged him and they could because they've been best friends for so long, but it didn't do it that way. And I love the fact that they're keeping us guessing a little bit. So we'll switch over
You're
back.
fucking bugging me. Who the hell? I'm literally broadcasting from my phone right now. Doc, fucking Google who else. Somebody else hugged him past the torch in the last like 2 months, and I can't think who the hell
I'm
it
surprised
is.
the chat normally comes through. With
Somebody
like
help
that.
me out here. There's another. It was Taker and Bray. We had Cena and Cody.
Was it Braun Breaker with somebody in NXT or no?
No, it was on the main roster.
I can't think of it.
There's too much wrestling knowledge up in there to fucking sort through.
Well, if we think about it, we'll come back to it. So we're moving all the way down to Dynamite now, and I don't know. A lot of people thought Jay White when they saw this, but it was Juice Robinson, and I'm all for Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson. I think that's going to be a nice little feud there, and this is the thing I thought about.
Was it Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have passed it to him?
No.
Cena sort of passed it to him.
No.
Triple B.
Well, no, he beat him. Cena beat him, or no, Roman beat him, and he lifted his hand in victory. I'm looking right at it.
That's not what I'm thinking of, though. It'll come
You'll
to me.
think of it. You'll think of it one of these days.
So
Next week, you'll be like...
Oh, go back.
All right.
So here's what I'm wondering about this. I love the Juice Robinson thing like you. I'm all for Juice and Ricky having a nice feud.
Hell yeah.
But obviously, Juice is still wearing the Bullet Club garb. Obviously, we're seeing actual Bullet Club in AEW. So what I'm wondering is, do they have an agreement now with New Japan for the faction in some iteration to be in AEW? And is that the catalyst for bringing Jay White in? And do we get a Bullet Club faction in
I don't know if you're in this battle with WWE and WWE saying, hey, I'm going to give you all this money. I'm going to give you this. And what can AEW say? Hey, we'll bring you the Bullet Club. We'll give you that. Maybe, I can see that as possible. If you're going to try to get him, he's torn right now. Wherever he goes, if we finally get Bullet Club on American TV on a regular basis, I'm down for it. When have we ever had that?
If you want to bridge the gap for money and you're getting an agreement with New Japan for AEW to release Bullet Club merchandise.
Yeah, exactly.
You're making a shit ton of money because the Bullet Club merchandise sells even if people don't know who it is.
I missed NXT this week, Kelly. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
I wonder, are you talking about Raquel passing out?
That's probably what she's talking about. I bet you that's what exactly she's talking
we
about.
already touched base on this. Wardlow had his gears and his belt stolen from his car. He just won the damn belt. Then he had it stolen. And then he has it literally stolen by Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs, we talked about this earlier. Now you're TNT champion. I'm not against it. This I like even better.
The only thing I want to touch on with the Hobbs thing is, one, I like how they changed it to a false count anywhere because Wardlow had no gear. So let's let him wear street clothes. And then, two, I like the pairing of QT Marshall. So I hope that it's an actual thing. Like, they disbanded the factory. That's cool. QT Marshall, if you think of QT Marshall as an MVP type manager, or he can work in the ring in tag team matches or get fed to somebody or whatever, Hobbs is not a bad promo, but Hobbs is not a great promo either. So putting a mouthpiece with him, especially a snarky dick like QT Marshall, I love the pairing of, and I think that makes him a much higher in the card talent. Having QT Marshall as a mouthpiece and also as a heater to feed and interfere and all that. So I'm totally digging it. That's all I want. The only point I wanted to make on that.
Me too. So the All Atlantic title is now the international title.
Love it.
I love it. It's pretty much.
I wish they would have done it from the get-go.
Yeah, it was what it is from the get-go. They just branded it better now. I definitely prefer it.
However, the promo that Tony Khan cut about why and to do with Shazam was fucking stupid.
Yeah, we're leveling up the title.
Yeah,
nice
he was fucking high.
Yeah.
He was on the booger sugar and trying to cut a promo like that. Let Renee do that. You should have let the best friends make that announcement that the title's being renamed.
It's money. It's money.
This is going on to Takeshita sooner or later.
But the Hobbs,
that's where it needs to go.
I missed the Hobbs thing. I didn't get to talk the last time either about it. But I'm happy for our Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, the simple fact is, like, he was such a heel in Chicago when we met him, and the fact that he was still good to the kids, he was still he was just a good all around guy to everybody. But just, you got this little 7-year-old that walks up and looks up at you and goes, "Hey, Powerhouse Hobbs, what are you going to do tomorrow night?" And he's like, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do, kid. I'm going to beat Ricky Starks' ass. That's what I'm going to do." And Bodie's eyes got real big, and he's like, "You got a problem with that?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Cool. Then I guess you could take a picture. Come here." Put a picture out, and he's like, "All right, buddy." He goes, "You have a good day, all right?" And he, like, looked at, like, this dude just freaking, like, ripped Ricky Starks to shreds. Like, Bodie loves Ricky Starks. That's the most funny part. But just the fact he kept doing that. And then afterwards, I was like, "Yeah, your action figures sold out in Pennsylvania. We can't find it anywhere." He goes, "Well, obviously people in Pennsylvania have fucking taste now, don't they?" I was like, "All right, high five." Then he just winked at me and had this little smile on his face. He was a great guy, man. He was a good guy.
He's another one, though. Like, TNT or AEW is doing a really great job of building young talent. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody says. They're doing a great job of building new stars. Will Hobbs is a homegrown star. He started on Dark, with a tier 0 contract. He started, doing. He wasn't even actually contracted the first few times he was on TV. He was only doing, the guest spots or whatever. And now he's one of their main people, and he's a legitimate guy that I could see in the next 3 years being a true main eventer and being a true draw for them if done right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We one little tidbit before we get a little bit more on Dynamite closing it out. What was next? Oh, yeah. Mark Briscoe announced that the Reach for the Sky ladder match at ROH's Supercard of Honor will decide the new ROH tag champs, and announced that the Lucha Bros will be the first ones in it. And I think they should win it. If they don't, I mean, it should be a nice star-studded cast, a bunch of different great tag teams. I don't have a problem with it. It's a good way to decide it, I guess. And if you're not going to be doing a big tournament, I wouldn't have minded a Briscoe Cup tournament, and they can have it every year. Hopefully they bring the Owen thing back that the AEW did too.
I think the Reach for the Sky thing is a cool branding, and that could be something they do a tag team ladder match once a year or something like that in Jay's honor. About the Lucha Brothers winning it, they've been all over AEW TV being the trios champions. They've been obviously in all the tag team feuds and stuff. I love them. If they're going to take a detour to ROH for a few months, I don't have a problem with that. There's a lot of great tag teams, though. I mean, we have the Kingdom, but the Kingdom was being shown on AEW last night. So are they making this jump to AEW? Mm. But I like that we're kind of maybe able to trade tag teams between the brands. You know what I mean? But I hope they stick to that. They're like, if the Lucha Brothers are on ROH, the Lucha Brothers are on ROH. Pretty much, unless we're doing a Forbidden Door situation. But
I want to see more defined roster. But I'm with you. I hope they do still kind of borrow talent or use talent here and there. Why not? Anything else from last night's show that you guys want to mention? I think it was a solid show. I always love watching John Silver for wrestle. The Starks thing was good. We talked about Hobbs. We talked about Cassidy. That's actually
a team I feel like should go to ROH. I feel like they would be right now they're a small fish in a big pond. But I feel like if they went to ROH, that they could be one of the main tag teams on the brand and develop a little more. They're already great characters, but I feel like they're not quite all the way there in the ring. Well, they're really good, don't get me wrong. I just don't think they're as over with their wrestling as they are with their characters, and that just takes time.
Yeah. So that's basically it for this week. I mean, we had Revolution. I think it really can be something that could push them in the right direction. Now that the roster's build up, we'll get more definition on ROH closer and closer to WrestleMania.
One thing we should touch on, and I'd really like to hear your guys' opinions.
Sure.
So Friday on SmackDown, we had the promo between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the first face-to-face in-ring promo between these two. Up until this point, it's really felt to me like it was Paul Heyman versus Cody. The way they've cut the promos, the emotion they put it in. And I was kind of wondering when we were going to get that kick, because Obviously, Roman's been tied up in the Sami Zayn storyline. But I'll tell you what, man, it was fucking masterful. The promo that they cut, Cody's babyface response to Roman being one of Dusty's kids, doing the Dusty voice saying he never mentioned you.
Yeah,
my
good
God,
Dusty too.
was it good. And my God, did it sell that match. And I mean, Cody's response to it, and he even name dropped the Young Bucks, saying nobody thought me and my friends could sell out a 10,000 seat arena, but I've done it. That's why I'm not afraid of you, because I've overcome everything. Man, it was good. And it's that shit to me is what grabs. And like, I knew it was going to be a good match. I love the Heyman promos with Cody, but that right there made me so. It took me from like a 5 in excitement out of 10 to like a 7, 8 already, and we still got a month to go, which is what it so desperately needed.
I mean, for me, I'm on Doc's opinion on this more. I don't have much of an opinion. I agree with what you said, but what I've heard, this isn't my opinion. What I've heard about that promo that I didn't like, that people were saying, is they didn't like the fact that they shook hands, that it was amicable. Like they're like, oh, I don't want to see the two top guys on Mania that are fighting be, cordial to each other. I mean, I got it, but it's not my complaint. That's the complaint I've heard, and I was like,
that was Cody sucking in anything he wanted to do to hit him.
Yes,
and just giving him that, just shaking his hand and saying, okay, all right, fucker, we'll see again. Yeah, he's
mind games.
Cody's playing them also.
Both of them.
To me, that's Cody sticking out his hand just to prove, like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not intimidated by you.
I loved it.
You know what I mean?
No matter
like,
what you say, you can't hurt me. No matter what you say, you can't hurt me.
Yep.
And the fact that Roman showed a little emotion when he said, I miss him too.
Yeah.
That hits you.
Yeah,
that hits you more than anything, because Dusty was loved by everybody backstage, and anybody that worked on NXT with him. The knowledge he gave them and everything. My God, and people mention his name and they start to tear up. You know what I mean? Dusty Rhodes. I mean, shit. I have so many Dusty Rhodes figures.
He's one of my
because he was one of my favorites, man. I loved him as a little kid. You know, you got on that train.
Himself on the mic and in the ring. I mean,
but look what he did. Look at the little bit of the comparison here. He took like Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff, when Nikita Koloff kind of went off the heel, rushed in and said, "I cry for a Magnum TA." And Dusty goes, I do too. I'll never forget that, because Magnum TA was one of my favorites of all time. I was crushed as a kid. But what did Dusty say? Dusty says, we all have one objective here, and that is the 4 Horsemen. 4 Horsemen were dominant. Nobody could touch them. And Dusty led that attack against them. Led Magnum TA to take out Tully Blanchard in one of the greatest matches I ever watched, Arcade 85, an I Quit match, where Magnum TA broke a wooden fucking chair and drove it into Tully's head to make him say, I quit. Yep. The simple fact is this: the Minnesota Wrecking Crew got taken out by Nikita and Ivan Koloff after he turned Ivan back over. I mean, there's so many different routes that Dusty has led the attack against the 4 Horsemen, and now you're seeing that in Cody, and Cody is starting now. That was just a little taste of what people are going to get whenever Cody. But the question is, yes, I could see Owens and Zayn going after the Usos. He's going after Roman. Who gets Solo?
You may not even
That's
get
the question.
Do you want the answer, in my opinion?
Go ahead.
Who is one of Cody's best friends in the world that everyone knows about? It isn't on WWE's roster. Would get a huge pop returning. Maybe his wife already works for WWE. Maybe he would be much better in a more serious gimmick than what he was in WWE previously.
Tyrus!
Miro.
Miro's under contract for the next 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like,
Matt
wife.
fucking Cardona is legitimately one of Cody's best friends. Legitimately could come back as a more serious gimmick. And I'm not even talking about like ahead of WrestleMania. I'm talking about at WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa comes out to interfere in the match, and Matt Cardona jumps the rail and takes out Sikoa.
That would be great.
The only thing,
I would love to see that.
One thing I heard about Mania, which I hope it doesn't happen, but because it seems like Cody's destiny to get it, is they were saying something about some way, somehow Roman retains. Then The Rock comes out, and then we get that see you next year at Mania. So we get a year of Rock and Roman, which I hope it doesn't happen, but I've heard that float around.
I don't have a problem with a year for those two. I just don't think the world title needs to be involved.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. But then if it's not, then Brock doesn't need to come out.
I saw a lot of stuff too with people saying that it shouldn't be Cody that dethrones Roman, and it should be Jay. And while I get the idea of that story, I don't want to see it.
I don't either.
Do I want to see Jay possibly turn on Roman? Sure. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But do I want to see the tag team champion turn on the world champion and now all the fucking titles are kerfuffled? No, God damn it. Who is dying?
Bodie doesn't want to go to bed, and my wife's chasing him all around the house. I'm sorry.
Whoop that ass.
Uncle Ray said to whoop that ass.
All these guys are going to SmackDown tomorrow night. I am not, so I hope you guys have a blast.
We're getting investigated for child abuse later. Thanks, everybody.
Take some pictures.
Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
We're not done. We got at the end of the day.
Seriously, you need to go wash your filthy ass. Get in the shower. Oh shit! Hi. Yeah. Thank you.
You talking to your kid or your wife?
Both. No, I'm talking to Bodie. Jeez, if I talk to my wife that way, I get usually a super kick. Let's go.
At the end of the day, Doc.
Let's roll. At the end of the day, I just wish my kid would go get a goddamn bath, and I wish he would get it now because obviously, what's going to happen is he's not going to be able to go to SmackDown. Which Uncle Ray already said he's planning on taking you to the T-shirt place again.
Tell him I'll take his ticket if he's not going.
And Blaze said he'll take your ticket if you ain't going. Run! Hurry up! There he goes. He started moving when I said Uncle Ray was taking him to the T-shirt. I'm sorry, Ray. Ray's gonna take my wallet. Like, okay.
What's a good uncle for? At the end of the day, Blaze, you know I have nothing but love for you. You are my brother. But you need to go fuck your own ass. Put your head up there.
CJ's not here to do it.
CJ's not here, and I just feel like you haven't been insulted enough tonight. So go fuck yourself.
Damn.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
That's why I'm here. CJ's not here, but he's here in spirit. Just listen real close.
Can I get a
I knew we were gonna see those before the end of the
before the end of the day. At the end of the day,
I'm at a black and white gala, so no, I am not watching.
I got you.
Wally is going nuts right now.
CJ. The last time was for CJ. Now this is for me. Fuck you, Blaze. Fuck you in your fucking goat ass, you motherfucker. Fuck your fucking face. Fuck you, Blaze. Fucking monkey, fucking whore. Goddamn son of a bitch. Fucking Japanese shit kid. Motherfucker. Cunt. 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 Monkey fucking shit bird.
Dude, you realize you're still on it. You're becoming